What's up, guys? It's Nuke again. Here for another edition of the NukeStream. And today we got a really good topic. You guys know I like to talk about things that are actionable advice, things that'll help you guys in situations. Red meat's fun and all, but I like to provide solutions to the problems, right? Um, anyways, you guys know where to find me. My link is right here. Twitter.com, Caudillo Nuclear, Patreon.com, nuclearcaudillo, Twitch.tv, nuclearcaudillo, Instagram /nuclearcaudillo. So you guys can get on there. Follow me on Instagram, guys. I'm getting to 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I'll follow you guys back if you guys are return viewers. All right, but let's get right into it. So guys, as you know, human beings, we're very promiscuous creatures. We like to have sex. It takes a lot of societal pressure, laws, regulations, religion, extreme consequences for us to even slow down on our promiscuity, right? And now with the advent of technology and with a little help from feminism, we are in a zone or in a place in history where there really isn't much restraints for promiscuity, at least on the female side, right? So there's going to be downstream effects of that, right? And everyone knows that marriage rates are going to go down. Women are going to be constantly bored because there's just always a better man or another man. Relationships are going to suffer, and these are things we really can't control. There's nothing we can do, right? It is the way it is, and you either complain about the river, or you build a hydroelectric dam and you use the river and harness its energy for your benefit, right? That's the way I see it. We can't complain and bitch forever that women aren't the way they used to be or how they're supposed to be. You just got to deal with what is and move on with your life, because you really can't do this forever. We can't complain about women forever. They are the way they are. We are seeing what happens when we remove all or slowly remove all restrictions on women's sexuality. And now this is the end game. This is what we get. This is the ultimate end game of everything, So one of the downstream effects is that too, of that too, is the STDs, right? Now STDs, they range. There's STDs that you can cure in a couple of days. There's STDs that stay with you for your whole life, and there's STDs that can kill you, right? So it's something that you should take seriously, especially if you're actually or sexually active. Which, let's assume that most women are sexually active, and let's say that if you're here on this channel, you want to be or are sexually active. So this is for the guys, right? There's a lot of information on this that's false or just doesn't make sense or is very feminine, gynocentric, right? To protect women, right? If you go on websites about and you Google, guys, what is or which gender has the most venereal diseases or STDs, it's women, right? And then it will proceed to say, oh, that's because the structure of the vagina, blah blah blah. Now that could be true, right? I'm not a doctor, I'm not a biologist, right? I'm not a sexologist or anything like that. However, it does not make sense for that to be only true because of that, because women are having most lion's share of the sex, right? So if 33% of men aren't having sex or only are virgins or haven't had sex a year, but most of the STDs belong to women, then let's connect the dots here, right? Now, again, I'm not a biologist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a sexologist, I'm not none of that, but I'm a rational person, and those two correlate with each other, right? So, and it shows, and then there's cases this happened really recently here in Texas, where, hold on, let me show it. Let me see if there you go. It's too small. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Where there was a syphilis outbreak in Texas, and if you guys see on the screen, It's Houston area syphilis outbreak. That's 3 hours from where I live, guys. Health department reports 128 increase in cases among women, right? And syphilis is, I think, is one of the most more dangerous STDs. It can kill you, especially if you're pregnant. And the thing is, too, the way the response society gives to this, right? It's women are being affected by these the most, right? Because as you know, women are sharing a lot. Women are sharing men, right? So the response from these news articles and from the government, local, state, whatever, is to get more women tested or more people tested. But they will never say, "Hey guys, how about you close your legs a little bit? How about you hold on for a second and be more, obviously they'll tell them to be more responsible." The answer never is, man, stop having so much sex, with random people, right? Um, so there's no, the state is nothing. There is no solution. Like that's why I tell guys, what's the plan? Because even the medical professionals could easily tell people, "Hey, stop having sex for a little bit, like slow down, stop being a hoe, Um, but they won't, right? And I know men have, men, we also have a little bit of responsibility in this, but that's why I'm here talking to you guys, right? So understand that there's like all these reports and all the science and stuff, there is a veneer of gynocentrism where they're trying to protect women first, and they don't really say what it is, and they're saying that, hey, women these days are very promiscuous. You must assume that women are promiscuous, because if you don't, you will be sick, like literally sick. You could get sick, meaning that if you don't take the precautions, if you don't like look at the red flags, if you don't pay attention to her actions instead of like what she says or what society says about women, then you will affront the consequences of her life yourself in a way, and no one's going to be there to save you. The state isn't going to be there to save you. No one's going to be there to save you from what women do to you, right? There's nothing you can do, right? So that's why I assume, why not treat every gun as loaded, right? And if Houston, if more guys treated every gun as loaded, maybe use protection, or maybe said, hey, like this girl's kind of like for the streets, or she's gross, or something's up with this girl, or at least a smell test, or at least something, ask for a STD test, right? Which, most people don't do. So that's a little reaching, but, more guy, these things wouldn't happen, right? But, humans were very promiscuous. So anyway, Dan Smith says, strong women are great and complementary to strong men, not to the exclusion of strong men. What does that mean? Also, what is a strong woman, by the way? Curious for what that means. Um, Dan Smith again. Modern times demand no solution, but rather a socially constructed temporary band-aid. I mean, what is the band-aid? What is the band-aid? We're flailing right now. Okay, let me tell you guys something, and I want you guys, like, let's change our thinking. Let go of consequences. Let go of outcome. Let go, the doomer mindset. Everything, right? Look back at the landscape of the media we consume. Everything, and what does it say? What is the big message that everything is saying to you? Why are there so many dating podcasts? Why are there so many red pill podcasts now? Why is everyone talking about who's having sex with who and what should women do? What should men do? Masculinity, all this. Why? Why? It's because there is no solution. We don't know what to do on a societal level. We can't take away women's Tinder. We can't take away their Instagram, right? We can't tell women to close their legs. There's literally a 128% increase in syphilis in Houston. That's a first world city. That's one of the biggest cities in the United States. One of the most important cities in the United States. I live there, or I used to work there, right? And they will not have the balls to say, hey, ladies, stop having sex. Stop it. A girl the other day that I see from time to time, she told me, hey, I have bacterial vaginosis, right? Which it could come from different places, like it's your, I guess, your flora in your vagina, or different things, right? But also, I went on the CDC website. That website that everyone listened to during the pandemic, would it was everyone's Bible during the pandemic. I looked it up. Hey, what causes bacterial vaginosis? Right. I want to do my own research because I like the girl, and me and her have been hooking up for a while, for like a year, and I have nothing negative or bad about to say about her except that I know she's promiscuous. Right. I know because she's not with me all the time, and she doesn't want to be in a relationship with me. So I know she's probably seeing other men. So I assume she's promiscuous, and guess what? Boom, bacterial vaginosis. Now, the CDC says bacterial vaginosis is caused from having multiple sex partners, right? What am I supposed to do with that information, right? Call her gross. Hey, don't talk to me anymore. You're seeing multiple men. That's not my thing. It's not contagious. It's bacterial. It's not even considered an STD in all cases, right? But it's a bacterial infection that you get from dirty dicks. Dicks, multiple dirty dicks from places that she doesn't know, right? Because when you're with a woman constantly over time, you kind of start worrying and caring about her. It's just men. So what I do is I have my feminine wipes out for her. I take a shower before, I make sure that I'm clean. It's just what are you supposed to do? Because I could assume, oh no, that's just something. Because bacterial vaginosis can be caused even by like changing the detergent, right? But if you're promiscuous, right, and you're just slanging pussy all over the world, all over the place, and then you call me saying, "Hey, I got an STD test. There's nothing, blah blah." And I'm like, "Okay, it's fine." Like I was not mad at her. I didn't try to hold her accountable, you know. But we're gonna get into that later. But it's just, guys, these are the consequences of this is the end game of what society, um with the open sexual promiscuity. I know it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot of pain, anguish, loneliness, and I'm going to tell you the dark side of all this stuff, right? Because I've seen women who have to deal with this and who've lost me as a potential, boyfriend or even a casual partner or something, simply because of the bad choices they made. Now, not all STDs are her fault, right? A lot of the time, she just, maybe her boyfriend cheated on her and gave her something. Maybe she was young and dumb and didn't know what she was doing. You know, there's a lot of reasons, right? Don't go around like pointing your finger at a girl and saying, "You have this. You're POS." Like, don't, like, obviously you have to have emotional control. You have to also a little bit of compassion because we're all humans, right? To a reasonable extent, right? But at the same time, you're number one, and you have to worry about yourself number one, right? So if a girl has certain behaviors or is acting a certain way, start pulling the string, right, and start looking for signs, of STDs and stuff like that, right? Um, Zachary says, "Ever heard of prep? No, I haven't. What's that?" Jimmy says, "Asking for an STD test seems a little much." Well, I matched with a couple on not a couple, but like a girl in an open relationship on Tinder. And she says, "I'm in an open relationship. My boyfriend just asked for an STD test, and he needs to know who you are. Like, he needs to see your profile, or like, I'm like, that's fine. If you want to let me bang your girlfriend, that's totally fine. I'll provide an STD test. I'm clean as a whistle." So, a strong woman in her femininity is a strong man in his masculinity. Well, what is femininity then? And what is masculinity, right? Ain't that the question these days? All right. But aside from condoms, smell, and putting some thought in before sticking the PP in, is there anything else to do? Um, yeah, I mean, obviously there's abstinence, guys, like, or just slowing down, just like not having sex with as much women as possible all the time. Like, maybe just throttle the dating. There's that. It lowers, like, statistically speaking, um it will lower the chances of you having sex, right? But I mean, I'm not in the business of telling guys what to do with their penis. I'm just in the business of protecting men from the dating market and making sure that they have an enjoyable life. You know. Um, Hold on one second. Okay, so where was I? Anyways, Other things you can do besides protection, smell, putting some thought in. Okay. Obviously, yeah, just like look for signs, cold sores on the lips, um, outbreaks. Do a little research. If you guys see something like the Houston news where there's like 128%, like maybe just wait it out a little bit. It's pretty insane. It's among women, guys. It's 128% increase among women, right? And that's crazy. And the media is like, whatever, these are just the downstream effects, and it's still your fault as a guy. Everything's your fault. So, um, it is what it is. Um, let's see. Kid, men can choose not to have sex without condoms, but tons are going raw and then getting mad about STDs. Um, I don't think there's any data on men going raw or anything, but remember, if a man goes raw, it's the girl, it's 50-50. The girl can say no, you know, like the girls can say no. Guys, and I want you guys to see this comment. Men can choose to not have sex without condoms, but tons are going raw and getting mad about STDs, right? When you get to a situation where a girl calls you or texts you, hey, I got this, go get checked, right? Or she calls you blaming you for an STD, right? Even though you sure you don't have anything or you haven't had any signs of anything, right? For years or weeks or months or whatever, you're gonna have to deal with an emotional woman that is facing accountability for her actions. And boy, is that difficult, right? Um, for example, um, I had a friend, right? A friend that made an arrangement with a girl saying, hey, let's both have unprotected sex with each other. I'm on birth control and let's be exclusive. But outside of that, you can do whatever you want, but no other sexual partners. And she agreed and he agreed, right? A couple weeks later, she tells him, hey, I have gonorrhea. And he's like, oh crap, let me get checked. But just so you know, I haven't been seeing anyone else. She's like, are you sure? Trying to blame him. He goes get checked. He's clean, right? She gets mad. She calls him insecure, whatever. They have a little argument, and he drops off her stuff. She comes to pick up her stuff at his apartment, and she angrily takes it and leaves. Right, guys, this is what this is how women act when they have to face a little bit of accountability for their action. She broke the agreement. She went and had sex, and she got gonorrhea. Now, another thing is each STD has different incubation periods. So calculate that in your mind, right? I got a call from a girl that's saying, "Hey, I have bacterial vaginosis and I don't I think I'm good, but you should get checked." Or something like that. She didn't know what it was yet, right? And then when she told me it was bacterial vaginosis, she told the doctor about me and all that stuff. And I said, and I looked up the incubation period and it was 4 days. It takes 4 days for that stuff max to show up. And I hadn't seen her in 2 weeks. Do you see how women think, right? They cannot accept accountability, especially because the STD account, when she gets an STD, that's like they freak out. Women freak out. They cry. They don't know what to do. I've gotten calls from women and I tell them, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm clean. I got tested. I'm clean. You're a hoe. You've been seeing other men. That's okay. I don't look down on you because of that. I look down on you because you lied to me and you try to make it my fault, right? And it's like these are the most mature women do this, and the most immature women do this because they simply can't handle this stuff. And that's why I tell you guys, do the best you can by vetting. Always use a condom unless you love her. Unless you're in love in a relationship with her, I would suggest using a condom every single time, right? And make sure that look at the signs, the smell, the looks. Like, is she have sores? Is something wrong with her genitals? Just be careful, because when it comes down to it, women can't help it. They cannot help what's going on right now. So when again, I have another story. Uh, had a girl come over, one of the most gorgeous women I've been with. She was Dominican, Puerto Rican. Just like God, guys, she was booty so nice. I could put a cup on it. Thin waist, very sweet, very nice girl. I took her out, have some drinks, took her back to my apartment. We did the thing, and then we kept doing the thing a couple more times. And then she called me one day crying, "Hey, I have the H word. I have herpes." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And she says, "You gave it to me. You gave it to me." And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" First thing, herpes has can be in your body for years and you don't know it. It could be for a year, a day. It can be in your body for years. So there's no real way to tell who gave you herpes, guys. There's no real way, right? Because you could have got it from somebody a year ago that you hooked up with, because it's skin on skin contact. It's not only genitals, right? It's skin on skin contact. But because she's also very sexually active, she was an ex stripper, and also she's a very attractive chick. She's on Tinder. She's Latina, she's Dominican, and Dominicans, let's face it, we love to have sex too. So it's like, okay, well, I'm putting this together. I'm like, okay, maybe I did, but maybe I didn't, because I've always used protection, right? And you have sex. So I ask her this question, guy. Always ask her this question when she's trying to blame you. Have you been seeing other men? If she immediately gets very defensive, like, what do you mean? That is none of your business. Then you don't owe her shit from now on. You don't even owe her a negative test in your hand to show her, right? Because she's not cooperating. You're trying to get through this together, right? And I've offered for women who've called me, say, hey, I have this, and she's respectful and she's scared and she's like, I'm so scared, and if she's humble, I'll be like, I'm going to the doctor with you. Let's go together, even if it wasn't me, which it won't. It isn't, because I'm clean. I get tested. I will go with you because I'm a compassionate human being. I understand you're scared, and I understand as a woman, you don't really face the consequences for your actions very often, and this must be shocking to you. Welcome to reality. You have sex, you get sick sometimes, right? So let's get some more chats. Excuse me. Um. uh, Context makes sense. Yeah, Fred says a lot of these girls really do not know a lot about their vaginal health or even care. Yeah, it's crazy that most men, like me as a guy, I'm learning more about vaginas than they know about themselves. Like I had to constantly tell this girl, like, "Hey, bacterial vaginosis," and I'm like, "Listen, calmate, like relax. It could be from anything. Relax. I didn't give you anything because the incubation is 4 days. Like it's impossible, right? It's impossible for me to have given it to you." And that's it. I didn't tell her, "Hey, stop fucking other dudes," or, "Hey, you're doing, you need to be more responsible." I didn't say that, right? Because she's not my girl. I'm not. I know what it is, and I know women, hot 25-year-old women, are gonna go do their thing, especially when you have multiple dating apps. Women are promiscuous, guys. The most promiscuous women that ever lived in history. Now, there's downstream effects of that. And one of the downstream effects is I don't care about you that much. I can't, right? I care about you at a human level, right? I offered, hey, do you want me to go to the doctor with you? Do you want me to come over? She said, yeah, can I come over? And I'm like, yeah, come over. We can cuddle. You can, she was scared, right? Because as independent and strong as these women are, the minute they have to face even a little bit of the consequences of their actions, they crumble, right? So instead of her being, I got it, I just watch myself. Um, thanks for calling me, whatever. She's like, can I come see you? I'm scared. I'm alone, right? And that's the hard part about being a man, because you get nothing, you don't get much out of society, but you still have to step up sometimes because of your guilty conscience, or you're just a protector, or you're just a good person, right? So yeah. Um my ex had BV. Did she have it like all the time? Because sometimes it's like the bacteria on your dick or your body is the one that gives it to you. But it's one of those weird diseases that really, there's not a lot of. I mean, the CDC says it's multiple sex partners, right? But then I had people I asked, and that's why I said, ladies chime in. Is like, what causes this for real? You know, watch out for lesions. Yeah, you got to be careful with lesions. What is the rate amongst men for STDs? I think it's 60-40 right now for all STDs. Like men 40, women 60. But I don't know. I can't trust those numbers, man. Jorge said also make sure to pee after intercourse to prevent UTIs. Yeah, I mean that's all. Like usually I pee. Jimmering, yeah, but like, can't you get a bunch of STDs through kisses? I don't believe the raw dogging argument. Yeah, I think herpes you can, but it's very low chance, very very low chance, but it is possible. Kate says, I never go without protection unless I'm in an exclusive relationship. I hear guys saying that she uses condoms with everyone but me. Like you believe that? Yeah, guys. Are you stupid? You gotta be really stupid, right? And boy, do women love having sex without condoms. They will beg you. And you gotta be strong, guys. You gotta be like, no. All right, unless she's your girlfriend, unless you love her and she loves you, then don't do it. And if you love her, you don't have to like say, hey, get a test, right? But do this. Get tested and then show her, hey, hey babe, this is what I have, or this is what I don't have. I'm clean. I just wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt and give it to her. And then she'll feel like, man, does she want me to get tested? And she might get tested. Most likely she will. And you guys are clear, right, on where you're at, right? It's very important. Now, is herpes the end of your life? No. You can still have a normal sex life with herpes. A lot of people have it and they don't know it. They never get an outbreak, or they get an outbreak once and it never comes back. It sits in the bottom of your spine, I think, and it, sometimes, spreads. Sometimes there's no cure, but it isn't the end of all things, right? Um, Usually only find out through a blood test because unless you have a outbreak, you go to STD clinic, they won't be able to tell. There's no way to tell. They just no. Oh, hey, your dick or vagina looks good. Have a nice day. You know. There's only way to tell is through a blood test, right? Um, but if you do have it, guys, it's not the end of the world. You're not a lesser human being. You're not a piece of shit. This is for the ladies too, right? It's not the end of the world, right? But at the same time, guys, women will not tell you they have this, right? They will not tell you they have herpes. I'm going to say that again. Women will not tell you they have herpes, right? They're embarrassed. They feel like the girl will run away or you will run away, which yeah, most likely you will. Um, they're scared. They're too far gone. They like you and they're scared to tell you because you'll be mad. You know. So what they'll do is they'll try to have sex with you, and then they'll realize like, oh, I gotta keep making. I gotta be perfect for him so he won't leave. That way when I tell him, he's not bothered by it. But the fact is, just the fact that you get lied to is already enough. There's something very interesting about real life and the internet that I like to kind of like touch on sometimes. And that online people have a lot, especially women, have a lot more bravado and try to seem much stronger, more independent, and like more dominant of life than they are, right? But and that's why I am the way I am with them online, because I know a lot of it's BS. I know a lot of it's BS because um there have been times where I um like a personal story. There was a girl, she was super nice to me, and we made out several times and we hooked up, and we were starting to get busy. We were, we began intercourse, and she started crying, and she told me, I'm like, what's up? Are you okay? She's like, stop, 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 get off me. And I'm like, oh, I maybe hurt her, or maybe she's traumatized from another bad sexual experience. I'm not gonna say the R word, but maybe it was that. So I was like, it's okay, what's up? Tell me what's up. And she said, I have it. I'm sorry, I should have told you, right? And that's usually how it's gonna go, guys. She's gonna try to have sex with you, even if she has herpes, and because she's scared, she's terrified. Women are emotional; they run everything through an emotional a filter, right? So she's thinking, I found a guy like, and also herpes humbles women too, right? So you'll feel like a certain humility from these type of women because because even women are like, for all we criticize women, women have a conscience. They do have feel guilt, right? So she looks at you, she's like, this is the guy I want. I like him. I want to sleep with him, and I want to, like, just hang around him. I like him, but I have herpes. And if he finds out, he's gonna leave me. But if I don't tell him, he'll probably never know. But if I do tell him, he'll leave, but I'll feel guilty. Like, they have this moral conundrum. It's like, what are you supposed to do as a girl? You know? It's so confusing. What do you do? Right? It's such a crazy thing to think about. But at the same time, you know, you gotta put yourself first. So in that situation, right? Don't get mad. Don't push her off. Don't be violent. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything illegal. Don't raise your voice. Don't lose frame. You simply, you know, hey, it's okay. You calm her down. Hey, it's okay. You don't want a hysterical woman. You calm her down, give her a hug, do what you gotta do, tell her to put her clothes on, and you know, kind of comfort her, and say, hey, why didn't you tell me? Like, it's like, I'm not mad, but why didn't you tell me? And just kind of let's see, just kind of see how see it out. And then the hardest part for this is that women are, they're just like, you don't want me anymore, do you? You think I'm gross? I'm so sorry. Like, it's so sad. It's one of the most depressing things about dating is dealing with this stuff, right? And you tell her, hey, it's okay, it's fine. um don't get mad, like, just charge it to the game, and then go get tested. If I would say wait for an outbreak, or go get tested right away, whatever you feel in your heart this is the right thing to do. Because you're not going to go to you have to do a blood test for herpes, I believe. And just let her exit your life, right? I did that last year. I got tested, thank god everything was good. But then I learned the lesson. And that girl's still in my DMs, still asks me how my day is. Still, when she gets drunk, she calls me apologizing to this day. She apologizes. She's crying. She wants me to pick her up. Like, hey, we don't have to have sex. I just want someone. I just want to talk to you. I just want to cuddle. I just want some. I'm so lonely right now. It's just like, what am I supposed to do, guys? And this, as much as we criticize women, women are really not winning as much as we think they are, right? Um, Yeah, they live life on easy mode, but the consequences come later for them, and that's one of the consequences, and it's not talked about a lot. You know, these are the consequences that, like, people, like, STDs is still like a taboo subject on on dating shows or RP stuff, right? I think we should talk about this more, not in a science educational way, like, hey, this is what syphilis is, this is what gonorrhea is, this is what crabs is. No, no, in a psychological how to deal with this way, as a red pill man, you have to know how to deal with this, right? So I'll give you the primer. If a girl reveals she has herpes, calmly stop having sex, or stop the lead up to sex, right? um and sit her down next to you, tell her to get dressed, say, hey, I'm not mad, calm down, let her get her piece out. She's gonna cry, she's gonna feel so bad. And then you say, you want to stay the night, and it's okay. And if she says yes or no, or she wants to leave or something like that, she's gonna send you a block paragraph text after, hey, I'm sorry, blah 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 blah, I didn't mean, I know you never want to see me again, blah blah blah. You calmly tell her, hey, I just need time to process it, and just let it fizz out over time, right? And yeah, that's the best you can do, guys. If you care, if you also have it, then screw it, dude. Have fun. But if you care and it matters to you, which you should a little bit, right? It's your health. Um, because herpes for her may be nothing. It may be an outbreak once every 5 years, but for you, it could be torture. First outbreak can be torture. You can get it in your eyes. It's just you know, so you don't know. So yeah, that's how you deal with that, guys. All right. Um. Let's Okay, it happened to me as well. After you have a scare, unless she's in an exclusive relationship, it's not for me. Yeah, you guys. I'm sorry. The age of raw dogging, man, is just women are too promiscuous nowadays to do it. You gotta enjoy women the right way. Dan Smith says, I don't know if biologically people are evolved to have various multiple partners. How can that be healthy? Men are evolved to have multiple partners. Women are evolved to have the alpha fox beta buck strategy, and the pair bond for a long period of time. Right? I'm not gonna say life, but I'd say long period of time, right? Because children are difficult to raise, um, especially when they're young and they don't really mature to like able to fend for themselves, like able to walk and like feed themselves like without help until they're like 5 years old, and then able to make coherent like thoughts and sentences to like 13, right? So yeah, no link. She said she had it before me. I know guys can get something like it. I don't think we get anything like it. I think we can carry the bacteria that gives bacterial vaginosis. We don't have bacterial vaginal, hence why it's called bacterial vaginosis. But we carry the bacteria, right? So guys, if you have a girlfriend or are gonna have sex, wash your dick, um, so you don't give her bacteria. Like be a clean person, shower twice a day. Like do it for do it for her. Sackmore says people are evolved to survive, reproduce. Everything else is secondary, pretty much. The effects of BV are just more blood. Yeah, I heard it's like discharge, like just some gross discharge or something. Um, Maybe Kate can tell us more about that. In my opinion, men should use condoms all the time. Even if a woman says she's on birth control and she's ready to be a father, don't trust a woman who says she's on birth control. Yeah, that's another thing, guys. Like, remember, when that sperm leaves your body, you have no reproductive rights, right? So, assume that she's lying to you on all fronts, right? Unless she's your girlfriend or you love her, you know, assume she's lying. Or are you ready to be a father? Like you're trying to be a father, right? Yeah, it's a scary topic, but we have to talk about these things. We can't talk about who's shit talking who on YouTube all day. We have to talk about the stuff that helps you guys, because if we don't, then shit like the syphilis bullshit happens in Dallas, or in your city, and then you're gonna be like, oh, what do I do? And then we have to, as men, we have to watch out for each other. Women are already watching out for each other. We have to watch out for each other. I know we're not designed to, but we should watch out for each other. One way we watch out for each other is talking the hard topics. We cannot just leave this by the wayside, right? This is a very important topic, and I don't know why the red pill doesn't discuss it more often, right? Because this is literally life ending. You can get the wrong disease, you can get the wrong, you know. Um, so yeah, Jim Ring says women are too promiscuous to raw dog is a crazy thing to think about. Yeah, it's over, guys. It's over. Like I'm not gonna tell you not to risk it because maybe you're ready to deal with the consequences of a raw dog, right? But like these days, man, I just don't see it being worth it. Like it's just not worth it. Obviously, using a condom doesn't prevent every STD, right? But it prevents a lot of you know. It's very worth it to use a condom. That goes on the hot takes that cannot be shared. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the Ocean Man says, when in a no condom situation, hands. Zachary, hot takes and thought cakes. Yeah. For BVDS, be careful. Yeah. Yeah. Always flush the condom after use. Um, Also, especially if you have a dog, don't leave the condom on the ground because your dog will eat it. Funny story. Well-known porn star wrote about this ritual for avoiding herpes and others after every performance. Condoms are usually an option in that profession. What was that? What did he? What was his ritual? Um. Anyways, guys, yeah. So be very careful out there. When you guys are dealing with this stuff, um, condoms aren't 100% sure, but it's a lot. It protects you from a lot of stuff, right? Um, Assume every woman is like has an STD, you know. Um, and if you're gonna do it raw, just know that there's consequences. There, you're at risk, right? And just be a man. If you do get something, be a man. Don't be a, don't call her yelling at her. Just be like, and ultimately, if a girl does does um does accuse you in STD, even though you don't, always check the incubation period for the STD. So before, how many days, when's the last time you touched her, you had sex with her. Women try to out outsmart you, right? And all that stuff, because they know that you can use guilt, your male guilt, against you, right? Which is the basis of feminism as well. But uh you check the incubation period for the STD in question, and then calculate, and you just tell her, hey, there's no way I could have gotten you this, right? So calm down, and just tell her, hey, just be careful out there. And that's it. Leave it at that. You don't have to hold her accountable, because she's already facing the consequences of her actions, right? And most women cannot. They crumble, right? So do that. Always use protection. Look at the signs. Smelly vagina, um, outbreaks. All that stuff. Do the best you can. And yeah, and then get tested if you're sexually active, get tested every 3 months, 6 months, whatever if hopefully your insurance covers it. It should at this point, but hopefully your insurance covers it. And then you guys enjoy women, but just be careful, right? Because women are promiscuous, right? Women are promiscuous. That's just the bottom line. So thank you guys. You guys have any more questions or anything? If you guys want to send a super chat too, I appreciate that too. I want to thank everyone who's been sending super chats lately. I appreciate your guys' money. I will put it to good use in improving my equipment. And realize, guys, that a lot of the times in this space, we tend to forget about you guys, the viewer, right? I know that a lot of the time in Red Pill, it's very entertaining to see girls get kicked off. I just witnessed it on Monday. Very entertaining to see drama, people going to jail, people doing this, people doing that, right? But at the end of the day, guys, um, you have to think about yourself. You're responsible. Your happiness is your responsibility, right? And I can't be happy for you. Um, I can't make you happy for yourself, right? So these are the topics that'll keep you clean and safe and happy. And not only that, is that you need the right mental models, right? I post a lot of egregious stuff on Twitter, but it's none of it is not true, right? I recently posted that no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you try, or not, okay, you can be the greatest father ever, and your daughter can still turn out to be a slut, like very promiscuous, right? How do I know this? Because I've dated women who had strong, hardworking, traditional fathers from Latin America, built businesses, sent their daughters to school. You know, Mom was a stay-at-home mom, traditional, and they still are in these streets, right? And a lot of people don't like that because we want guarantees in life, right? And I say, but there's only one thing you can do, and that's just love your kids. And it's just like, what do you like? Technology is really powerful, right? It, you're gonna tell me that meeting those two ladies from the other night on Purple Pill, those ladies are making much more money than I ever will, right? Because one of them was a porn star, the other one, the OnlyFans, right? They're dating athletes, like young women see that, and they see how happy and glamorous that life is, right? I'm not saying go sell their bodies, but just being in the streets, just having fun, which is okay. It's their birthright. It's the free country, right? Um, that being said, um, and imagine you're a normal girl with a happy family, and all of a sudden you have a boyfriend. The boyfriend cheats on you, or the boyfriend leaves you because or something happens. Right? You're not happy. The boyfriend is a big beta. Just doesn't understand how to talk to women, how to be a man. Right? And you look at these women having the time of their lives with really attractive men, and to a young woman, like what you know, um, you look at these young women, eh, and or as a young woman, you look at that and it's like, man, that's the life I want. I just looks so much better. The grass is greener, especially if you're super young, right? And it's just like you could have the best father in the world, but there's so many other factors that come into that. And as a father, I guess the best thing you could do is simply love your daughter anyway. You know, she's your daughter. You know, love if your son turns out to be a deadbeat. Obviously, you can be a little harder on your son, but you love your son anyway, right? That's all you can do, right? There are no guarantees in life, except death and taxes. You know, so do the best you can and know that you did the best. And sometimes the best isn't good enough, right? And this happens to me, and that's this is coming from a womanizer who goes out and I am what I am, and I have ugly women that deny dances with me, hideous, fat, obese, terrible looking women that look at me with disgust when I ask them to dance sometimes, right? And it's just like, what am I gonna do, right? I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna be like, you should dance with me. I'm so attractive. No, I just be like, okay, well, you win some, you lose some, Can't get mad. And then you gotta have that approach to everything. You can't be addicted to outcomes, right? And to tie it into today's topic, it's like, um, you can't when a girl presents you this information, oh, I have herpes, I'm so sorry, there's nothing you can do at that point. Getting angry or getting upset is not going to solve anything, you know. Um you don't know what's out there. You don't know what she does as soon as she leaves your apartment, right? Just be careful. Have fun, but be careful, you know, because you know the psychological effect of having herpes is not easy, you know. Zachary says CJ is a little gloom and doom, but for my taste, but he made a good point when he said there's no condom for your mouth. Yeah. Theocles, hello. You have a new subscriber from Dominican Republic. Que lo que, mi hermano? Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the channel. Um, and glad to have you on, my brother. Kate says, guys gonna assume their plates are plating them. Too many guys have a fantasy of one way monogamy and their other hypergamous best option. Sure, yeah, I guess. And you didn't waste time pretending to be friends, get rejected, handle it, move on. Yeah. You don't have to deal with the awkwardness, right? But at the same time, have a little bit of you know, have a little bit of self-respect and dignity when you exit. Don't get mad and all that stuff. And this includes when a girl like drops the bomb that you have an STD, right? You may be the one that gave her that CD, right? Too, but I mean, you already know how to handle it. You just tell her, hey, I gave you this, and that's it. As men, we're accountable, so we just say, hey, I gave you this. Sorry, I didn't know. So and that's all you can do in the situation. But yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in. That's all I got on the subject matter. If you guys have any suggestions for content, comment below. Guys, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. And yeah, guys, you guys want to find me on all my links. I'll put my link tree in the chat here. That way you guys can find me on everything. Let me just put it in here. There we go. Yeah, guys, and stay safe out there. I want every one of you guys to have an enjoyable sex dating life. But you got to be smart. You have to be smart. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. I got salsa night.